Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Train Fever. This is it. This is the end of the road. You can't really say end of the road in a train game, so let's say this is the end of the line. This will be the last episode in this series. We've come a long way together. We've had many laughs, good times, and a whole lot of fun. We're following our second heritage line, which we built midway through the 21st century. In order to try and encourage people back onto the joys of steam travel, despite the fact that faster and more comfortable modes of transport were available. And I'll be honest with you, for as attractive as it looks, and this is the second heritage line, which we actually put some care and attention into the appearance of the journey as people would take it. Yeah, nobody rides it, ever. Nobody ever takes this particular line. Why wouldn't you, though? I mean, look at that for a view. Anyway, this freeze you're seeing on screen right now is the reason that this is the end of the series. I could tinker... I mentioned this before, but I could tinker with this endlessly. But the size of the game means that, even with the somewhat beastly PC that I play on, yeah, you don't get to continue playing because once a month everything pauses while every single thing in the game calculates its profit and loss and revenue and the rest of it, and this is a very tall bridge. Yeah, so it's just not practical to carry on that basis. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start up a whole fresh game. Obviously, you fine people have decided to continue watching Train Fever, so I'm going to continue making Train Fever videos. That's the deal. You watch, I make. And in the next series, we will be covering the Nordic DLC that has just been released, and potentially another mod or two as well, but I need to try them out in combination to see just what happens on that front. So the only thing that is guaranteed is that, yes, we will be covering the Nordic DLC. See, look, it doesn't make for good watching to have the whole game pause for a couple of seconds at the end of every month, so we can't carry on that way. Do we want to carry on following this chap? No. Let's instead look at some of the things that we've built. Maybe I'll build something new today, maybe I won't. I haven't yet decided. What I have done is I built these couple of little bits of road. This is Twin Woods, our utter failure to try and get another town started. And really, I mean, it's not through a lack of trying. We have been able to build it up to be a transport hub, but there isn't a single route that comes into this station that doesn't just, lose a whole lot of money all the time. And that's unfortunate, but there you go. That's just the way it is. I think the buses possibly do okay. This local goods yard, that makes a profit. Ironically, the goods being one of the biggest pain in the backside to actually get to make money, and that one's doing fine. But in terms of my train services, we do not make much cash at all. What's going on here? Why are you two stubbornly waiting? You're waiting for a free path, which can only mean that the TFV is due. You'll be waiting for a free path as well, because you want to slide across here in order to zip out down there. So the question is, where do I want to stick a signal? I mean, it's as simple as that, right? Let's put a signal on here. Or no, let's do it down here. So just so they're not waiting from extreme. Of course, there's a vehicle in the way. Yeah, I can't help myself. Despite the fact that we're wrapping this up, I'm still going to try and make things move somewhat efficiently. There we go. Oh, hold on. Has everything come up? No, it's the end of the month again. So, I mean, it's quite nice that my young friends here are giving. Oh, now you decide to stop. Brilliant. Yes, these two chaps, they're more than willing to let the TFV go through, but have only decided to do so at the last minute. Perfect. Anyway, look, it's working now. I guess we shouldn't complain too hard. Anyway, this is a mess of a station, and were I to continue to, persist with this with this particular growth idea, then yeah, then I'd redevelop the whole thing. I think it is possible to get a second kind of settlement to grow in a remote area, but you have to have the local demand in order for that to happen. You know, if this were the only station to cover multiple towns, so if we included Seaford and Borehamwood in the otherwise unserviced category, I think we could potentially have something build up here. But as it turns out, not to be. Anyway, I live in hope that at some point in the next 14 minutes, we'll get some plucky individual decide that just as a little end of series treat, they'll build us something. Anyway, where else am I going to look around? Don't worry, we're going to look at all the big stuff. Just about everything is running a profit, apart from all the Twinwood services are just a disaster area. I think one of my bigger successes in this playthrough has been my multi-stop Redcar through to zoomed out. It's not much fun to watch. So coming from Redcar out through the next place, yeah, you do need to be zoomed out if you want to remember the names, through Worksop and Plymouth and Derby and Newton and into Dukinfield. That's been a tremendously profitable route, and one I heartily recommend. I mean, you could almost, on a map like this, run a service that did the entire exterior towns on the map, and do so in a very profitable fashion. But you need to make sure that you are building up your kind of goods supply at the same time. Otherwise, the towns don't grow to be in anywhere near the kind of passenger delivery volume that you need to make a profit. There you go. Just watch this chap coming in. But as you can see, look, passengers all over the place. It's marvellous. Yeah, so I mean, we're limited by the trains that can be run. So we're running these dual stocks here, and it's carrying 77 in. I don't believe all 77 are coming in this direction, or if they are, they're going to be a little disappointed. Let's see, does it completely empty? Oh, it does completely empty. Okay, great. Well, there you go, even better. And it's because we're running in both directions, it gives people the choice of which way they want to go. That's the end of year pause, that one. Fortunately, I was watching a train that was stopped in the station. And then they all kick out again. And if I was slightly more efficient in my tram route setup, they'd all now be waiting for public transport. That said, the public transport in town's doing fine anyway. We're usually averaging around the 25-26 million a year profit. So last year was 21. I imagine we bought something, didn't we? 20 million rentals from new vehicles. No, actually not so much. Okay, it was just an off year. I can live with that. And of course, Worksop's doing tremendously well. We've got skyscraperage going on here. We've got monstrous traffic difficulties. Love it. Plenty of passengers waiting. This is just, all in all, a very, very successful route. A bit more goods going on here, as you can see. Look, lots of goods waiting, servicing lots of different towns. Everybody's happy. Plymouth, another good one. And you know what? I'm not just going to go, oh, look at this. I was successful here, and here, and here, and here. Let's have a look at something that's interesting. So, when I started this series, my goal was to build 3 big towns, 3 hub towns. So after the previous series, where I built a hub town for the first time, it was quite popular. I decided this time around I'd build 3 of them. Well, we never quite got to that point. I think we ended up with 2, one of them only partially hub-like, and maybe I'll go and do some work on that. Maybe that would be fun. But what we've ended up with is the goal for were those towns successful, is we wanted one town that had 1,500 population, and then another 2 or 3 that had 1,000 population or more. And where have we ended up? Let's just recalc here. There we go. We've ended up with 4 towns over 1,000 Dukinfield hasn't quite made it to 1500. It would over the fullness of time. I'd need to rethink the interior transit routes. Possibly lay in another route or two train-wise, which would make for some fun scheduling dialogues. Look at all the stuff coming in now. Let's find ourselves an end of a platform to stand on and watch this happening. Really, we're going step ladder. There we go. Hey, look, we've got everything happening. So yes, we've got the Earthling Borough route coming in on the TFV on the left. We've got our main passenger line that actually is underperforming as far as profits are concerned. I mean, it's never been a good one. Where are we? 68. That's okay. Then this is Dukinfield, Ilford, Yarmouth. Hey, look at this. Look, we've got trains of all kinds happening right now. There you go. That's your box art. That is right there. We'll take it. I like it a great deal. And there's the end of the month. Thank you. Something like that. Where's the view to end all views? Anyway, that's pretty appealing stuff. And we've got on here 60. So we're now, Earthling Borough was a project we looked at a little while ago. And it now seems to be picking up a touch. Shall we? Hey, we've followed Steam. Let's follow the other end of the technological scale here. Yeah, I mean the TFV is an expensive toy to have on your network, and I think I've got 2 or 3 of them now. They're woefully disappointing if it comes to trying to set land speed records, but they're jolly good to look at. And the speed of delivery is well, I mean, they are the fastest thing you've got going. But yeah, don't expect to make a massive amount of money. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look at this route and see what sort of profit it makes, if any. We are at 964 million in the bank as we speak. Here we are, Dukinfield, Earthling Borough, 330 grand a year is what it's losing at the moment. Actually, I've seen worse. These two Bexhill routes at the top here, those are the yeah, those are just hemorrhaging money. And then yeah, we do this. Why am I running that engine on there, I wonder? Interesting. Have I not looked at that recently? That's a Dronfield route, and Dronfield is the other, I guess you could call, hub town that I neglected it. I didn't get it to the level of quality that I perhaps could have done. I certainly haven't run the routes in there that would have yielded its growth to a higher degree. In fact, let's have a quick look where it appears on the list. 700, you see. So, for something that was supposedly going to be part of the big expansion program, it's not really paid off, has it? Anyway, here we are, coming into Earthling Borough now. 36 whole people waiting. It's not going to make a lot of cash like that. So yeah, Earthling Borough continues to disappoint. Cursed are you, Earthling Borough. Let's move on. Let's go and have a look at Dronfield. I've mentioned it often enough. I think we should go and give it a spin. So Dronfield's kind of confused, I think, is possibly a way to describe it. Ilford is its strongest town link, because Ilford is kind of fundamental to a lot of the expansion. So Redhill and Dukinfield, big deal, go through Ilford. If I were to build another hub city, it would probably be Ilford, because there's just a lot going on there. But look, we've got, there are passengers waiting on highly convoluted routes, but it's just not a big earner. It's not a big grower, for reasons I'm sure best known to itself. Let's have a quick look here. We're delivering all the goods it could possibly want. I think it's just lacking a punchy route to make for excitement, and maybe the trick to that is going to be better trains. This chap's tootling along at 100 and not much. Let's watch it. 37 on board. I'll be interested to see what it gets up to. Yeah, 130. Oh, maybe a little more. No, it's got a bit more in the tank still. I think it tops out at 160, something like that. We'll find out. We'll follow this along its merry way. But it's not, I mean, it's a long enough route that I could put faster and more expensive services on there and still make hay. Look at this bananas bridge going on in the background here. Quite a lot of the development you see is as a result of me having more money than sense later on in the game, and as a result, just building willy-nilly. And that's another thing that I'm going to do in the next series is I'm going to have a plan, and I'm going to do my best to stick to it. Yeah, there's a thing. So yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier. I had the desire to stick to 5 platform stations next to each other and see about getting all of those services running in harmony, because for me that's been the most fun in this series, has been trying to get Dukinfield's big, well, it was originally 8-track, but I think it's now 6, working in a harmonious fashion. So I don't know. I'll mull it over, I think. And how many are you picking up here? 28 passengers. See, there's just not, it's not generating enough demand, and I think this is partly due to me being stubborn and insisting on using train consists simply because they exist, in order to keep the variety of rolling stock up as high as possible, because that's going to make it more interesting. I need to re-look at some of my modding. Let's go and follow the only. No, I've got 2 modded trains on track. This is by far the more interesting though, so let's go and follow that. It's probably going to disappoint me by being stuck in a flaming station waiting for a signal again. Okay, you're just sat there. Oh, it was the end of the month. Okay. Yes. So this is an adjusted skin that I've done. It's not perfect. I need to do some more work on it, really. But this is, part of what I laughably call the Apocalypse mod, and given a little bit more flexibility in modding other areas of the infrastructure, I would probably expand it further, because I think it's quite a good look, this kind of utter decay. But what I haven't yet figured out how to do, and maybe someone in the comments can point me towards a good tutorial, is duplicating vehicles in terms of options. Because if I could make, for example, if I could clone this train, so if I were buying a new train, there were 5 different versions of this, I could give them all a unique skin. And that would be fantastic, because it would mean that I could run, lines owned by different companies, effectively. Why have you got no passengers on board? I think it's because adding the TFV has meant that all my services coming into this enormous waste of money have bunched up a bit. We do still have passengers waiting, though. I mean, 3 people want to ride on Heritage. Not Heritage 2, which is the one with the good view, but Heritage itself. Right, Dukinfield, back to Dukinfield. I feel I have neglected it. I feel I have not done it the justice. No, not Dukinfield, Dronfield. Dukinfield's fine. Dukinfield is a high-earning beast of a town, with every route a diamond mine. Where are we going now? Just go back to Dronfield. Well, just go back to Dronfield. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not like it was short on development opportunities. I just never put the time in. And as tempting as it is to do now, the end of month pausing isn't going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. We've got passengers waiting. So here's what I would do. Okay, if I were going to try and make this much more successful, first thing is look at this terrible bus route. this is still using the original bus route, where I would have one service that was town to town for buses, and another service that would then subsequently pick up from the point over here where the town to town drops off and take them to the station. So the first thing to do would be to build services that tied together both sides of this town. And we've got this one little tunnel here that links them. They would need another one the other end, something better than this out of town bridge, and that in itself would be quite a challenge. Oh no, hold on, we have got it. I'm looking right at it. There's another tunnel here. So I have put the effort in. But what I would want is better connections to the station. Okay, so that's the first thing you do, is in order to drive the traffic up there a little, is make sure that foot passengers from anywhere in your town can actually get to the station. Next up is to connect to as many places as you can. So we've got Letchworth here, we've got Dinnington. I mean, Dinnington's woefully neglected for starters. I mean, it's getting a little bit of goods coming in, but not a lot. In fact, this whole side of the map, you know, Keighley and Bognor and Thong and Harpenden and Dinnington and Letchworth to a degree, I guess, then Stamford and Bexhill. This whole area is a bit of a ghost town. It's something I never really looked at. And I think what that goes to show is that actually big maps, you don't try too hard. Were I to do another big map, I think I would probably try and split up what I was actually working on, so that we would take in all four corners of the map. It would be nice to run a... There you go, that's an end of the year calculation going on. So, you know, a TFV route from Dinnington over to somewhere completely mad, Plymouth. I'm not going to do it because just plumbing that in would wreck a whole lot of other services. But this is what I mean by building with a plan. You know, a corner-to-corner route in that fashion could be quite exciting. I mean, it could actually yield close to top speed out of a TFV for once. But anyway, who knows? Right, okay, let's wrap this thing up. Anyway, this has been a very fun playthrough. I have really enjoyed it. And as I have with every other series I've done so far, we're going to stand on the shoulders of giants and expand further in the next playthrough. So, as much as I'm going to go for a small map in order to try and make everything as humongous as possible, at the same time, no, you've just said what you're doing at the same time. It may be a small map, but we are going humongous. Will I revisit a large map? I don't know. One of the things that the developers have announced recently is that they're going to try and open source the game to a degree, so that it can be modded to hell and back. So, you know, including the placement of all assets. So, I mean, all that, it's like map making plus, I guess you'd describe it as. Exactly how that's going to manifest itself, I have no idea. But on the face of it, it sounds quite promising. I'm just interested to see if any of the talented modding folk out there... I'm not a modder, I'm a reskinner. But if any of the talented modding folk out there can maybe simplify some of the end-of-month calculations so that the performance hit isn't so great, then we could build something truly enormous. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this season. You have been splendid companions. Your comments have always been incredibly welcome, even though I know for many of you, you tear your hair out at the fact that I persist in doing signalling and points in the places that I really shouldn't. But hey, I make it so it works for me. Doesn't need to work in reality. It just needs to work for me. You know, even when I don't follow your advice, it's still very welcome to receive. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. The new season will be following on immediately after this one. So on your usual Train Fever day, there will be more Train Fever. And it will be coming from me. Whether you like it, don't like it, you know, I'm going to keep doing it as long as people are watching. And even if you're only watching to go like, why has he done that? I don't understand. That's all good. What else is there left to say? Press the like button. That's a good thing to do. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will catch up with you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.
Listen.